way past. I mean, way. So if I lay out the whole week.
Good morning. is so wonderful. God is so wonderful. God is so wonderful. God is so wonderful. Again. God is so wonderful. God is so wonderful. God is so wonderful. Hey, listen there, every one of us to be wise. Find your heart. Open up both your eyes. We cannot know everything without ever knowing why. It's in every one of us, by and by. It's in every one of us to be wise. Find your heart. Open up both your eyes. We can all know everything without ever knowing why. It's in every one of us, by and by and by and by and by. Listen, every one of us. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. There's a holy hush around us. I see love in every face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. So good to see you all today. Light this Christ candle, which represents the light that shines in all of us every day, all the time. You are loved. You are loved and you are loved. So let's come into the present moment as we take 2 deep breaths in and out. Here in divine presence, we realize our oneness with all that is. We feel love in our hearts, and we are so grateful for this divine presence. We say thank you, divine love, for the many people who work so diligently to make this space a clean, lovely, welcoming center for spiritual growth and learning. We also want to send our love and healing intentions to any who are not with us in person this morning due to illness. We see you filled with love and light and your divine energy restored. of this love that is here right now, in this place, in this moment. And so it is. Amen.
Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. There's a holy hush around us. I see love in every face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Wherever you go, wherever you may wander in your life, surely I know, you know, I always wanna be there, holding your hand, standing by to catch you when you fall, seeing you through, in everything you do, watching you grow, and going through the changes in your life. That's how I know I always wanna be there. Whenever you feel, thank you, need a friend to lean on, here I am. Whenever you call, you know I'll be there. Come on, let me be there in your morning. Let me be there in your night. Let me change whatever's wrong and make it right. Let me take you to that wonderland that all of us can share. All I ask you is let me be there. Let me be there in your morning. Let me be there in your night. Let me change whatever's wrong and make it right. Let me take you to that wonderland that all of us can share. All I ask you is let me be there. Come on. Let me be there in your morning. Let me be there in your night. Let me change When I'm laying on that couch by myself, it's so wonderful in my life. By the fire, it's all right. But it's good to have all of y'all. It's just fine. We're never alone anyway. All right, let's go. Let me be here next Sunday morning.
Great week.
You too. Love y'all too. All right, take care.
I want to share today's daily word with you. The word is positivity, and the affirmation is through positivity we can do all things through the divine presence within us. We've heard it said, most people are about as happy as they make up their minds to be. These words show us the importance of positivity and how an upbeat attitude can keep us afloat through the rough waters of life. Positivity helps us see the world as full of joy and possibility. Difficulties may arise, but our confident faith in the goodness of God gives us the power to cross the stormy seas, to find calm waters and the warmth of sunshine. The light of God surrounds, enfolds, and uplifts us. When we center our thoughts on the divine within, we feel equipped to meet all challenges. God's indwelling grace sees us through the stormy days. Even if squalls of sadness toss us about, by faith we will outlast the gales and reach calm seas again. From Proverbs we read, keep your heart with all diligence, for from it flow the springs of life.
Thank you so much, Judy Hill. And how many here have decided that they're going to have a good day today? It's a good day to have a good day. Okay, on this first Sunday of March, excuse me, it is bright and sunny, and I want to welcome all you glorious souls here. It's wonderful to see you. Welcome to Unity of Chattanooga's Sunday Celebration Service. I'm Amanda Adamson, and I'd like to thank each and every one of you for being here today. Whether you're here in person, remotely viewing our live stream, or watching us later on YouTube, know that you're in the right place at the right time, and your presence and energy have a positive impact on our community. If you're watching us on Facebook, we invite you to comment or give a thumbs up. Also, I'd like to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Simply search YouTube and Unity of Chattanooga, and it'll pop right up, and you press that subscribe button and have some likes. We want to do this. We want to come up on the views when people search. So, I think that's. Oh, do we have any visitors here for the first time? Hello. Welcome. So our usher and administrator and everything else is going to give you a packet of information regarding what we believe in unity. And there's a little piece of paper on the back. If you would go ahead and fill that back, if you need a pen, let her know. And when the offering plate comes around, please drop that in. Okay. You ready? Not to be weird or anything, but we want to all together now. We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ in you. Great, thank you. And that Christ in you, it refers to your own divinity. To comprehend the Christ presence within you is to recognize the same sacred, powerful, divine life source that Jesus and other enlightened beings tapped into and expressed through their lives, while also inspiring others to live as they did from the inside out. If you're seeking a more profound yet practical spiritual connection in life, you will find support and inclusivity and unity in the Unity Movement, a now global spiritual community that was created by Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, which began 136 years ago in, you'll need to remember this date if you ever have a trivial question, 1889. At Unity, we've made a conscious decision to welcome and honor a rich diversity inherent in our spiritual oneness by celebrating our differences. We recognize the beauty in each individual's unique expression of faith. By embracing universal truths, we create a space of acceptance and respect for the variety of ways individuals express and expand the goodness within them. And speaking of goodness, our board was honored to serve, I believe it was about 23 people, of our hardworking volunteers. We had a volunteer appreciation dinner, and last night a delicious home-cooked meal of Italian delights was prepared by our talented chef, Kelly Thompson, who's not here right now, and he was assisted by Laura Noyes, Penny Worth, and Susan Haney. Thank you. Thank you for putting that on the board. We appreciate it. They had the checkered tablecloths and the little, it was sweet. Thank you for your work there. Volunteers truly are the heartbeat of our loving, thriving community. And to each and every one of you, whether you consider it big or small or in between, it keeps us going. Everybody's important. So now is the time in our service where you get to get up and show some love to each other with words of kindness, handshakes, hug, or whatever you like.
I'll take another hug.
Sometimes it gets to be, so we have a little bit. I'm not happy that
Gotta give this one a quick toss before the gong goes over the piano.
There's a lot of love in this room. Yes. So, I am excited about today's Truth Talk. Some of you know I'm an avid student of the teachings of the late Reverend Eric Butterworth. He's my go-to voice for all things unity, clear, concise, unapologetically passionate in his writings and talks on truth. Well, he's not going to be here today. He'll be here in spirit. Where are you? Today's guest speaker's Truth Talk is entitled How to Be a Living Magnet, based on the teachings of Charles Fillmore and Reverend Eric Butterworth. And he needs no introduction because we all know, love, and celebrate him. So come on up, Eric Miller. Please welcome him.
No, it's got my hair. It's got Okay, well, hi everybody. Welcome to the Unity of Chattanooga this morning. And, goodness, feedback coming out of there. Okay, well, let's get right into it. Yeah, how to be a living magnet for the things we want. I added the things we want because sometimes we're living magnets for the things we don't want. So I just wanted to be clear. I mean, it works both ways, but we're going to be focusing today, like the word of the day, today positive on our daily word. We're going to be focusing on the things that we want. I came across a quote by Charles Fillmore last September, that really, it struck me as absolutely true, but it's one that I haven't shared with very many people because on its surface, it can seem kind of jarring. But the few people that I have shared it with have all told me days afterwards they're still thinking about it, and it was still blowing their minds. And since I like having my own mind blown, and I love blowing other people's minds, I'm going to share it with you today. So I was actually going to call my talk title, or title my talk title around this quote, but was kind of afraid, when people saw it on the announcements and everything, that, I might be scorned, ridiculed, cast out there on the Brian Road, without hug, without handshake, or you quantum universe, namaste. But don't worry, it still does pertain to how to be a living magnet. God does not love anybody or anything. That's is that why Unity is called New Thought? That's the doozy of a new thought, right? This is a picture of Charles leading Silent Unity, which maybe the term Silent Unity came up when he laid this idea of God does not love anybody or anything on them. It's like, sort of the silence that we all felt a few seconds ago. Well, there is more to the quote. God does not love anyone or anything. God is the love in everybody and everything. So why is that distinction important? God does not love any of us, but God is the love in each of us. Eric Butterworth, one of Unity's most famous ministers, he started 3 ministries and he grew up Unity. We'll get into that a little bit later, but he when he was speaking in New York, he was the minister in New York for 40 years. He would pack Avery Fisher Hall in the Lincoln Center with over 2,000 people every Sunday. So when I say he's one of the most popular ministers of all time, I think there's no debate on that. But he found this paradox interesting too. God does not love anybody or anything. God is the love in everybody and everything. And he said in Practical Metaphysics, a New Insight into Truth, he said we need to redefine this thing called love, actually undefine it. And he goes on to say, we've accepted that biblical statement, God is love, a little bit too literally. It's become kind of rote, it's become kind of literal, as if love is a commodity. You know, that God has to give it to us sometimes, but then other times he takes it away from us. We treat love like a commodity sometimes, don't we? We think of it in terms of either having it or not having it, being in it, not being in it. And when we think, oftentimes when we think that we don't have it in our lives, we usually blame someone else, or even God, right, for taking that love away from us, for making it impossible to find someone to love. How many of us have ever been on that love, have ever been in love on a one-way street? How many of us have loved someone and then had God take that person away from us? I'm not sure, but I bet Charles may have come up with this idea that God does not love anybody or anything in response to a legitimate "why does God hate me?" question from one of Early's Unity followers who was probably struggling in some way. Or what did I do wrong? Why has God turned his back on me question because of some situation one of the early followers was in. He actually wrote this later in his life when the Unity ministry was in full swing and Unity Village was already up and running. But I can see that happening, right? It's just like people come because we feel that way sometimes. But again, Butterworth's advice is to stop defining love as a commodity, as something we either have or don't have. Because the second part of Charles' statement, God is the love in everything and everybody, becomes a lot more comforting, because it means that love is the path to God. It means that love is God. Do you see the difference between God is love and love is God? God is love implies separation, right? I have to get to God to get to love. God is love, I gotta get, ABC. And, that God guy, he sure is great, right? He has all the best stuff. What do I have to do to get him to give some of it to me? There's a separation. But when we think of it as love is God, well, right? That means that love is all around, everywhere, all the time, all around us, right here, down on this mortal plane, mortal coil. So I don't have to go out and find it. All I have to do is dip my toe in that energetic river, that divine flow that is all around us. Because once I start feeling it, I can start immersing myself in it and following its flow more and more and more. So, I don't know about you, but based on my experience being in love, that sort of sounds kind of right? We feel good when we're in church, hopefully, right? But we feel on top of the world when we're in love, right? On top of the world. We smile at everybody at the grocery store. We hold doors for strangers. We hold doors open for strangers. We get in the right lane so that people who are in a bigger hurry than us can pass us on the road, and we do it without rebuking them. The world is a happier, shinier place when we're in love, right? When we're in love. And things seem to go our way when we're in love, too, right? We enjoy our jobs more. We embrace the new support and confidence we have in our lives to find better jobs if we don't like the ones we have. We find great places to live, maybe even cohabitate together. Get outside, we go different places, we make new friends, and we do fun things. We're more active and healthy. We're smiling and looking good because someone else is buying us clothes and jewelry. Helping us make healthy, positive choices, right? It's the flow of being in that loving relationship, right? It's seamless, it's effortless, right? Love is God. God is that effortlessness. So, we are not separated from love. It's not on some faraway altar up in heaven or stored in some secret vault in a church in Europe. Love is right here on earth, all around us. God is the love in everybody and everything all around us. That means there is no disconnection. Love is God. Oh wow, when I'm in love, I'm in God. Does that resonate? Does that? That's what Charles Fillmore was saying. So how does that help us be living magnets for what we want in our lives? That's us. When we stop treating love like a commodity that we either have or we don't have, it becomes easier to stop treating happiness, health, and yes, even money, like they are things we either have or we don't have. Eric Butterworth was fond of quoting ancient Egyptian literature that said, God is an infinite sphere, the center of which is everywhere and the circumference is nowhere. So this is an important statement when we recognize that Butterworth's concept of God was identical to Unity's concept of God, and that it's not an anthropomorphic being sitting on a throne up in the sky making judgments about the world. Rather, he believed God is a presence in infinite love and power, infinite love, life, and power, that is always all around us, 24/7, 365. In A Journey into Consciousness, he wrote, each of us lives in a world of consciousness. What we think and say determines the life we experience. What we think and say determines the life that we experience. Rather than believing the outside world impacts our lives, Butterworth expressed the unity theology that people live from the inside out. What we hold in our consciousness, our active consciousness, and our subconscious, but our consciousness is what really shapes our lives. Because that drives that little voice that's talking to us in our heads all the time. And it's either nagging us and telling us that we're screwing up, and all the reasons why we're screwing up, or it's saying, hey, let's go rafting. You know, let's apply for that job because I want to work for NASA, you know, or I want to get healthier, I want to get better. So one of the self-described missions of his ministry, in all three ministries that he was in, involved reversing people's method of thinking from a focus on what's lacking in their lives, or negative in their lives, to expressing gratitude for all that they have, for all that we have right now in the present. Because Butterworth spoke about several kinds of important and related tools we have to accomplish this. Positive thinking, prayer, meditation, and affirmations. In How to Live Positively in a Negative World, he wrote, when you discipline your mind to react to all changing circumstances with a projecting a positive thought into the future, you bring into play your genius for good fortune. That's cool, right? Don't you love that? Personally, I find great comfort and even optimism from putting a collective twist on that. When we discipline our minds to react to changing and challenging circumstances with a projected positive thought, we bring into play our genius for good fortune. It's collective energy. There's a collectiveness in that. And as someone who spent a little bit too much time this week doom scrolling items while I was had a spot of food poisoning. I find this especially uplifting, because we bring into play our genius for good fortune. I bring into play my genius for good fortune. You, all of you, bring in your genius, your good fortune, by the power of your thoughts, the recurring of your thoughts. One of the other things that Eric Butterworth talked about a lot in a lot of his sermons was something he very much believed in. He believed that our greatest discovery we can make is the awareness that we are in control of our thoughts, even when it seems to be mattering and there's all these, it's a freight train in our brains, right? We have the power to choose the kinds of thoughts that we have. We have that power. We don't always remind ourselves of it, but it's important to remind. Whether it's positive ones or negative ones. Because refusing to identify with the negative thoughts empowers us to see the possible, and thus possible solutions. Eric Butterworth said, when you say yes to the creative flow within you, you begin to experience I am positive, I can attitudes, which in turn on the power and the skills to accomplish anything you need to do, because you've got that confidence. I can, I will, I am doing. When you believe you can do it, the how-to develops naturally. So as I mentioned a little bit earlier, Eric Butterworth, he was born in Canada in 1916, but grew up in Southern California in a Unity family. His mother and father were Unity. And that no doubt helped him lean a little towards optimism, right? It's fair to say. But he also served during World War II in the Army, which made him a realist. Undesirable things do sometimes happen to us from time to time. Undesirable people do sometimes come into our lives. So analyzing thoughts or situations to know what we don't, to analyze negative thoughts and negative situations that come into our lives, to do that to know what we don't want so that we can know what we do want, there's value in that. There's value in that. And as long as we don't get stuck swimming in our negative, what we don't want world. Because it's real easy to find support for, oh yeah, it's cloudy today, oh yeah, it's gonna rain tomorrow. And there's a lot, people gravitate towards that kind of, that energy. But Butterworth advised, when we as living magnets attract something or someone into our lives that we realize is not our highest and best good, a good way to begin to detach from that thing or person without going into denial or getting lost in an endless churning sea of positive thinking, because we can do that too. It's like, oh, I'm just going to be positive. That sometimes is a little bit of a treadmill. What he advised is to say to yourself, and maybe to the person involved, thank you. Thank you. You have been instrumental in revealing to me that I am out of my divine flow. It's not placing blame, it's taking accountability. It's taking ownership. Then, when we start to feel the separation starting to happen, and it will, right? Has anybody kind of experimented with this a little bit? Yeah. When we start to feel that separation happen, give yourself the gift of a few quiet moments every day, maybe several times a day, to be still and say, thank you, I am now in the flow. Even if you don't fully, I'm only 25% in the flow, thank you, I still am in the flow. Because tomorrow might be 30 or 35%. And guess what I'm going to say tomorrow? Thank you, for I am now in the flow. And it might take a minute, it might take a week, it might take, I'll get there. I'll get there by telling myself that, thank you, I'm there. Maybe what I was experiencing, I needed to be there. Thank you, I needed to learn that. I needed to have that challenge. And I needed to have cancer come into my life. It's hard to say that. I wasn't saying that 3 years ago. But I can say it now because I can see the benefit of it. I've learned so much from it. I've been able to share with other people. I can say that I'm on the other side of it. And thank you for that experience, because in a way, it is propelling me forward. You know, I get to stand up and go, hey, I'm cancer-free now. When 3 years ago, it was about 3 years ago, almost exactly right around now, we were still in Las Vegas. I was getting the death sentence. I mean, the doctors had never seen PSA levels as high as mine. They were just in the hundreds, and they were like, sorry, just some people are unlucky. You know? And I didn't, and we were getting ready to move. I didn't know. I was like, well, I don't have time to deal with it. I'll deal with it when we get to Tennessee. But anyway, Eric Butterworth always circled back to, well, when we get into that thank you, I am now in the flow thinking, we start to feel that progress. Eric always circled back to when we spend more time in the knowing, feeling, sensing, and believing of what we want, the how-to develops naturally. That's what I said before. The how-to, when we just believe it, we don't have to define how it happens. We don't have to, oh, I'm going to be a living magnet today, and I'm going to define what that means. I'm going to win the lottery, or I'm going to, you know, da-da-da. There's a distinction between letting and willing. When we let, we're in that flow. We're in that energetic, divine flow. And Eric Butterworth knew this to be true because he knew Myrtle Fillmore's origin story, and really the root reason for the creation of Unity. This is Myrtle. This is the photographer that took the picture, so that's not her name. In 1886, and Charles in 1886. And she was only 41 years old then, and she was suffering terribly from tuberculosis by then. She had been suffering her whole life. She went to see a doctor. They were living in Kansas City then and married. And the doctor told her the same thing they told me, that you're going to die in a few months. There's nothing we can do. And this is, 1886, tuberculosis was a bigger killer than it is today. But she and Charles, they had sought every means of sort of, quote, doctor healing. And so they discovered an opportunity to attend a lecture by a spiritual metaphysician named Eugene Weeks. And in that talk, Myrtle seized upon his words, I am a child of God, and therefore I do not inherit sickness. And for the first time in her life, Myrtle genuinely understood what it meant to be a child of God, a child of spirit, a child of life. Her true being was not the emancipated little woman, the emaciated little woman she thought she was and had been told she was her whole life. Rather, she discovered she had within her the pattern of perfection and wholeness that is God's nature. She owned that. She took responsibility. She made that her strength. She began a process of forgiveness and affirmative prayer, and Myrtle apologized to all the parts of her body for what she's called condemning them and calling them weak, insufficient, and diseased. And then she began speaking truth to them, the truth that she wanted for them, saying instead, telling them that they were vital. They were full of vital energy and vigor, active and strong. She's telling the cells in her body this. She encouraged what she called the free flow of life with what she called true thoughts and words. And she did this daily. And her body began to respond until she was free from any physical limitation 2 years later. It took a while. She would, go into these meditation trances. And then she continued to practice prayer, meditation, and healthy living, and lived for another 45 years until she passed in 1931 when she was 86 years old. And during this 2-year recovery period, other people, noticed this remarkable woman, of this frail woman, emaciated, suffering from tuberculosis, including her skeptical, business-minded, real estate-driven husband, Charles, and many people started coming to her. Her first started out with her maid, Lucy, who had acute bronchitis and had gotten the death sentence. She made a complete recovery. And then their postman and people across the street, other people in their Kansas neighborhood, started recovering from their life-threatening sicknesses by coming to her and using some of these mantras that she was sharing with them. And eventually Charles embraced her teachings too, and he experienced a miraculous recovery from being a chronic invalid his whole life from a skating accident he had in Minnesota when he was 10 years old. So together they started sharing and expanding on Myrtle's secret for being a living magnet for the things they want. And in 1889, as Amanda said, they started Unity for what they called the study of practical Christianity, some stuff that we can learn from religion and we can apply in our day-to-day lives, which is what I'm talking about now. They did not intend for Unity to become an organized religion, but the success of their students and followers, the success that they had, that those people got from following their teachings and their advice, eventually did turn Unity into an organized religion. In Myrtle's essay, How to Let God Help You, she asserted that God is the unconditional loving spirit from which truth flows. Since all around us people tell us we are limited, our words must be trained or we do not see the good of spirit. This training is a process of releasing negative and doubt-filled thoughts and affirming the good, the truth, what we want, that God presence, spirit presence within. No matter what the situation, she believed that by changing our words, thoughts, and actions, each person can claim a life filled with love, abundance, and peace. She taught that to other people, and it was working for them. So now Eric Butterworth's life was dedicated to basically spreading this message of personal renewal through changes in attitude. There's only one way you can change your luck, and that is by altering your thoughts. And from Spiritual Economics, he wrote, failure or lack in your life is simply the result of continuously minusing yourself. Conversely, success and prosperity are the results of constantly plussing yourself. It is wise to take inventory occasionally of this duality. Are you dealing in minuses or pluses? Are you telling yourself you're smart enough, good enough, and doggone it, people like me? Or are you telling yourself, gosh, I don't have that, I don't understand that, plussing and minusing? It's that simple. He also said, because he was a realist, you are always on the side of the problem, or you are on the side of the solution. Again, that personal accountability, not placing blame in somebody else. Choose this day whom you will serve. You are always on the side of the problem, or you are on the side of the solution. Choose this day whom you shall serve. That's from Joshua 24:15. Your belief in yourself and a divine flow, or someone else are you going to believe in yourself and the divine flow, or someone else whose beliefs you can't control? That's our choice, right? That's our choice. Because you can control what goes on in your mind. It's not to say it's always easy, but it's crucial to establish and believe that it's possible. He also said this: you are a living magnet, constantly drawing to you the things, the people, and the circumstances that are in alignment with your thoughts. That's why that plussing minus inventory every now and then is important, because you're in alignment with your thoughts. Butterworth often reminded people that you cannot make a friend, you can only accept one. And from his book, In the Flow of Life, he expanded on this idea. And instead of inspecting the world and the people in it to make your day happy or harmonious, establish yourself in the consciousness that you desire to experience. Let it flow forth through you and go from you after you rise and start your day. Start with the flow. Don't get behind the 8 ball and go, well, I'll have some coffee, and then you're behind the caffeine 8 ball, and pretty soon you're stacking yourself up. Start your day the way you want. When we let our day unfold from that starting point, when we don't give other people the power to make us feel sad, hurt, or angry, it becomes much easier to accept people for how they are, to accept and deal with any and all situations that come up. Butterworth said, the key to happiness and abundance is not what's in it for me thinking. It's in what's in me for the world thinking. What can I do today? I know I got all this stuff going on, but still, what little thing can I do today? Because if we stay in that what's in it for me thinking, we're just going to go into victimhood, right? But if we're like, hey, what can I do? What can I do for the world today? Opens up some possibilities, right? Our giving, he wrote, our giving is our receiving. And the world around us not only respects us for that, it loves us for that. It loves us back for that. That's how we attract. So I'm not sure how I'm going on time. I had a cool little story. Does anyone want to hear a cool little story? So, we attract what we need or want often before we know what we really needed or what we really wanted. And to illustrate this point, Eric Butterworth told the story of it was in the mid-1800s, and this hotel operator, a small inn in Philadelphia, everywhere was booked, and these people came up and said, hey, we really need a room. And he's like, oh, we're really booked too. And they said, we've been to every other hotel. They're all fully booked. We can't find a place to sleep, this man and woman. And he said, look, what I'll do is, I got to work all night. I've got a room in the back. You guys take my room, because I got to be here at the bell desk anyway, and just, and get a good night's sleep. And, well, this is before charge cards and everything. I'm sure they probably paid by cash or whatever. A number of years later, this guy got a message from William Waldorf Astor to come manage the Waldorf Astoria in New York City. Because guess, I'm getting chills, guess who those two people were? That hotel clerk on one obscure Friday night. And he went on to be the first and legendary hotel manager of the Waldorf Astoria in New York City. He went from this little podunk nowhere hotel in Philadelphia, the outskirts of Philadelphia, to running the Waldorf Astoria. So, that Eric Butterworth ties that back to Matthew 6:8 in the Bible, which the Father knows what you need before you ask him. That guy may not have been happy in his job, but he didn't take it out on these people. He gave him his room. He's like, you know what, I'm here. A couple years later. Could you imagine? And that goes back to God does not love us. But God is the love in everybody and everything around us. God was the love in William Waldorf Astor. His other advice was begin every day not hoping for luck, but affirming this is a wonderful day and I am a magnet for only the good in it. Let's all say that together. This is a wonderful day and I am a magnet for only the good in it. Woo! Does that feel good? I just felt like a collective whoosh. We attract the love, the things, and the people around us, not by willing them into our lives, but by letting them come to us from the energetic field we find ourselves, that we ourselves emit. We control those emissions by where our thoughts are resonating from, lack or abundance. So let's all resonate like beautiful music this week. Let's look for and embrace harmony all around us. Let's set our expectations for miracles without defining exactly what those miracles have to be. Let's set our expectations for miracles, but not define those miracles. Let them come to us. Because as Joe Dispenza said, if we focus on the known, we get the known.
Yeah.
If we focus on the unknown, we create possibility. So, let's all believe in possibilities this coming week, positive possibilities in our lives and the lives of everyone around us, despite the news or latest stock reports or that phone call we don't want to make or the one we just got off of. Because when we open up our boundaries of knowing, we invite mystical, miraculous knowing. Thank you. All right, good. Well, I have a meditation for us too. So let's take 3 nice, deep, centering breaths. I don't want to clear anything because we got something going here. During our meditation, when we get beyond our physical bodies and stop focusing on the latest news, stop focusing on all the people, all the things that we want to wish that we could change. When we get beyond our bodies and quiet our thoughts, our neocortex, the seat of our conscious mind, relaxes and stops signaling our body to produce stress hormones. So signal your body now, signal your neocortex to relax and stop signaling your body to produce stress hormones. In this no body mode, we sense no danger. We relax and feel our neocortex begin to work in a more holistic way. By separating ourselves from our solid three-dimensional world, we become attuned to the energy field in between all the subatomic electrons and subatomic protons that make up what we see, touch, and hear. Attune yourself now to that infinite field of information where nothing is physical, but everything is possible because we are connected with the flow of energy, the flow of potential. Feel it. Float into know that it is always there. You have the power. And so it is.
Can I borrow your Britney Spears?
We're twins today, huh?
We are. Well, that was a fantastic talk here. Thank you so much. So much talent here, huh? That was awesome. Well, now's the time in our service where we give you the opportunity to give back. So, you know, there's this show on HBO Max. It's called The Righteous Gemstones. Has anybody ever seen it?
Yes.
If you don't like monster comedy, don't watch it. It's terrible.
but it's freaking hilarious. And it's about this family that runs this mega church, right? And they're very greedy, they're very rich. You know, the kids have no respect for anything or anybody, and it just kind of spirals into just some crazy situations. But it's kind of a sad commentary on giving and tithing to the church. You know, I've experienced some greed firsthand in the spiritual song in other churches. And it's hard because it kind of turns you off of giving, right? But you know, the thing is, this is not unity. As much as we love our little craftsmen here, as great as the energy is in this place, this is not unity. We've had amazing experiences in lakeside pavilions and community centers and rental and churches that we rented on a day that wasn't Sunday. You know, we had to get a slot on Saturdays. This is not the church. This is not unity. You are unity. You are what makes this special. Neville Goddard says that, you know, since we are the great I am, that spark of divinity is in us, then we should be giving our tithe to ourselves. There's nothing more important than that, all right? And, you know, this is just a facility. This just facilitates unity. You are unity. So when you give, you're giving to yourself. You're giving to grow this beautiful community. So say it with me.
Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I give in love, and I receive in abundance.
We are one in the Spirit. We are one in the Lord. We are one in the Spirit. We are one in the Lord. And we pray that all unity will one day be restored. And they'll know we are family by our love, by our love. Yes, they'll know we are family by our love. And they'll know we're one family by our love, by our love. And they'll know we're one family by our love.
Father God, we just thank you for this abundance. We thank you for the gift and the giver. We thank you for the love and the energy and just the wonderful togetherness we have here. We know that it'll be multiplied back to us, and so it is.
So Eric, thank you today for allowing Spirit to be in you, as it flowed through you to all of us. We appreciate that. Okay, so our first two announcements today revolve around the backbone of our church, and that is our volunteers, and we're going to keep saying it. We are looking for a few volunteers to help out in our AV department. Training will be provided. Please see Steve Hastings, wears many hats, or John Chartier, to find out how you can be of service. And this isn't a permanent every Sunday type thing. This is when you can and when you're willing. So have you noticed that there is one thing missing on Sunday, and that is children. The second area for volunteers involves the new youth ed program. We're so excited, that sun is nice. We're so excited that Laura Noyes has stepped up to restart our Children's Sunday program.
Yay, Laura.
Yeah, say hello, Laura. And she would like to kick this off on Easter Sunday, April 20th, so it's just around the corner. However, she cannot do this on her own. We are looking for people willing to help out just one Sunday a month to assist her. This is an incredible opportunity to create a joyous learning avenue where kids can explore their personal relationship with God in an atmosphere of unconditional love and acceptance. Please see Laura Noyes if you are willing to help out. This coming Thursday, March 6th, the Wellness Warriors will be meeting here at noon. Our Unity Metaphysical Discussion Group will be off this week, but we're going to be getting back together on March 13th at 6:30 p.m. We're having some great discussions and exploring some wonderful ideas in that class, so I welcome you to join us. We are pleased to announce that Laura and Eric Miller will be hosting a new spirit connection group called Untethered Living, based on Michael Singer books of Untethered Living and Untethered Soul. This 6-week series will be held on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. in person at their home, and knowing Laura Miller, there will be snacks.
Was there something else you wanted to say about it?
Oh, I just wanted to say that it's gonna be, we're not gonna have any reading requirements. It's not really a book club. It's gonna be where I'm gonna show a video and then we're gonna talk about it. So it's based on the concepts of Michael Singer, but no homework, must love dogs.
It's watching him reading.
It's what? Well, he's not reading. He's
or just being interviewed.
Talking about it. Yeah, not being interviewed. Just talking about it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Laura. And this series is going to run from March 11th through April 15th. There's more details and a sign-up sheet on the back table. And of course, you can speak with Laura or Eric Miller if you have any questions. Following today's fellowship, our Power of 8 group, facilitated by our own Judy Hill, will be meeting downstairs, and everyone is welcome to attend. Next Sunday, March 9th, we have the pleasure of welcoming back Esther Nicholson. She's a powerful and dynamic speaker and with a beautiful voice. And you don't want to miss her presenting Embracing Your Pain Won't Kill You. Everybody ever felt like your feelings were going to just do you in? I want to hear that. She says it will set you free. Invite your friends. She is worth waking up early on a Sunday morning for. So don't forget to set your clock. Y'all might want to go to bed early. Yeah, don't forget to set your clocks ahead 1 hour, Saturday night, March 8th for daylight savings time. So now we hope that you'll stay for fellowship. We ask that you take your purses, drinks, jackets off the chairs as we transition. If you're able, please lend a hand setting up the table and chairs. So please stand now and join us in singing the peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God our Creator, in oneness all are we. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over